Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's been my privilege to live in Hong Kong and work for the Hong Kong Jockey Club over the last 11 years, and I consider myself very fortunate to be in this part of the world at a particularly exciting time when all these developments we've heard about are happening in China. It's also my great fortune that the Hong Kong Jockey Club has great interest in China in the development of the Chunghua Training Center, and therefore has even greater interest than ever in integrating and working with colleagues in China. Now, as you can see, I'm slightly different from everyone else in the presentation panel, in that I'm obviously a Westerner, and I asked myself why I'm standing up here. Well, my passion is veterinary science, and in particular the welfare of the horse. And in the work over the last 11 years, I've been, again, privileged enough to travel into China very often and meet many colleagues in China. Indeed, I'm proud to say, made very good friends of veterinary surgeons in China. And I consider really that we're all across the board trying to achieve the same aim, irrespective of where we came from in our profession. So it's very much a Westerner's view of veterinary aspects in relation to the thoroughbred racehorse that I'm going to present, but very much one with commitment to working with colleagues and helping develop and realize the many great things that have been talked about so far this afternoon. We've heard, and we all know, we've seen many examples of the great interest and enthusiasm for equestrian sports in China, in jumping, polo, modern pentathlon, dressage, and many others. We've also seen that China has a long and established history in horse racing, and horse racing still goes on in forms that are really quite unfamiliar with us, but very successfully and providing great interest and entertainment for many people. Of course, we've also heard, and that's what the focus is really on, this great interest and opportunity to develop thoroughbred racing in China. And that really is an important focus for everyone here. However, it's my passionate belief that veterinary care is critical for the suitable or appropriate development of thoroughbred racing. Why is that? Well, veterinary surgeons, I'm sure that my boss might agree with me, sometimes can be a bit of a nuisance, but we are a necessary nuisance, I think, and we will stand up and fight for the horse's cause, and we provide a very important support to some of the foundation and basis of several aspects of thoroughbred racing. Obviously, we have a very important role in caring for the welfare of the horse, the safety of the horse, and thereby the safety of the rider and other riders in a race. We have an important role in trying to ensure that horses race healthy and in their top form so that quality and consistency is maintained, which of course is very important for business. We also have an important role in the integrity, making sure that there are no veterinary-related cheating activities going on, and as we heard in the session on movement of horses, have a very important role in the credibility, certainly of movement of horses. And these are all critical foundations to racing success. And to try to establish a big program of racing without these foundations is potentially dangerous, because these critical areas may be undermined. So what's currently available in mainland China? In reality, there are not very many vets who are experienced in modern equine practice. And probably you could count them on both hands or both hands and both feet. There are very limited clinical facilities, or what we would call modern clinical facilities. For example, I'm only aware of one equine operating theatre in the whole of China, and it's a very big area. There are very few X-ray machines or ultrasound machines available in the whole of China, and these are obviously what we would consider critical diagnostic modalities to provide an optimal service. There are many challenges to the veterinary profession. Veterinarians have until recently held very poor status. They're given little authority to handle medicines, way below that of medical practitioners. They hold little authority as a general rule and are not given the confidence, really, to lobby for change or command change. The profession has classically held little attraction to future generations. There have been limited and rather poor employment options, poorly paid, and the actual structure of the veterinary profession is only now starting to become organized through the China Veterinary Medical Association, the China Veterinary Drug Association. For instance, the 4th China Veterinary Conference was held last year, and it's fantastic. It's really exciting and encouraging that these developments are happening, but it gives you some idea there's still a long way to go. There has been classically fairly poor support for the veterinary profession by the industry, and I'm very, very encouraged to hear our speakers say how much they appreciate and realize it is important to get behind the profession now. There's been general lack of awareness of owners. They're prepared to invest a lot of money in very valuable horses, but not the veterinary infrastructure to support them when they arrive. Equine studies are often not included in the curriculum in many of the universities. Again, that is something that is changing and developing and is very exciting. There are more specific issues. I've mentioned already the lack of clinical facilities and equipment. There are medicines available, but relatively limited and of variable quality. And as I've also mentioned, there's general lack of experience in technical procedures. There's a limited national equine disease database, which has created problems for horses moving in and out of China, and hence the creation of equine disease-free zones as a solution. New national regulations, which again is a very, very positive and exciting step, do provide some restriction to the practical involvement of overseas veterinarians. And I'm afraid to say there is evidence sometimes of opportunism from international veterinarians and not necessarily directing the input in the most constructive and effective way. However, there are lots of positives to look forward to look at. There are a number of different solutions that equestrian clubs and racing clubs are developing. There are indeed some excellent local vets, some of them showing on this slide here. There are some old-fashioned practitioners who've not been through veterinary school who are still very practical and able practitioners. And there are quite a lot of foreign veterinarians who work in various places effectively illegally, but allowed to do so. Some very able veterinarians make do with the relatively limited pharmaceuticals that they're able to get hold of, and a lot of centers still smuggle in their own drugs from overseas, which of course places restriction on those who can't get access to those drugs. And then in some cases, I'm afraid, there is a degree of neglect. But there are some very exciting and hopeful things and opportunities for the future. And of course, that's the really positive bit and the thing that we should really look forward to. There are, as I've said, plenty of young vets who are really dedicated to actually doing the job and getting their hands dirty and getting on with it. And they are genuinely enthusiastic and keen to learn. As we've seen, there is genuine interest from senior figures, Zhao Yaoling in particular, in Beijing, who are behind the profession, encouraging and supporting the profession. As a generalization across China, there's an increasing appreciation of the importance of animals in our society, of animal welfare, and of our responsibility and need to look after animals. And this need will clearly grow and grow as racing grows, which it no doubt will. I briefly want to finish on what the Hong Kong Jockey Club's approach has been towards supporting veterinary care as a neighbor and as a genuinely interested partner. The club has a genuine wish to support horse welfare, to support the equine industry, and to support the development of relevant skills so that China and China veterinarians can run this all and do it very effectively. There's a commitment to finding legitimate legal solutions for any projects that we're doing, and a willingness to openly share the knowledge that we may have developed and the skills that we have. So these are all very fine words. What are we doing to actually demonstrate we're doing this? Well, the club has a long-standing horse donation program. And I emphasize we don't just dump horses across the border. These are horses that on retirement are carefully selected. They're retrained over several months in Hong Kong, and if they're considered to be good potential equestrian horses, then they're donated to selected government-based stable sports federations in mainland China, and then we provide constant or regular veterinary support and veterinary follow-up. We hope it provides a good source of good quality horses, but also regular professional encouragement and support. The club has provided technical support to various key equestrian events at big games. For instance, here a picture of the team at the 2010 Asian Games in Guangzhou. We provide support to professional training and take great pleasure and enjoyment in doing that, both for veterinarians and farriers. We run courses in our equine hospital. We have vets come down and spend time in our hospital, and we have farriers and vets come and spend time in our riding schools. And that, to us, brings us great joy and interest and helps develop the friends, and we hope gives practical experience to people. We have a long-term commitment to our project at Chonghua. We don't want that to remain a satellite in China with expatriate vets working there. We want to recruit and have working with us colleagues from mainland China, and we're committed to helping with their training to get them in the position where they can hold those jobs. And as I've said, we've embarked on committed, long-term, and long in their nature as well, negotiations to agree legal solutions for overseas vets to work, certainly initially at Chonghua, and for us to use drugs which are currently not registered in China, but are recognized as essential for our operation within the confines of the Chonghua Training Center. And also, we take extensive investigation and discussions with all relevant parties to ensure that we do meet all the legal requirements for us to carry out our operation in Chonghua. So in summary, veterinary care for the racehorse in China does certainly require committed investment over the next few years and genuine commitment to that and to the professionals who are doing it. But with that commitment, I have absolutely no doubt that the profession will flourish, and with it, the racing industry, because there is no shortage of very capable young people who are full of enthusiasm and energy. Thank you.